might be a small market in Europe or America, but in China, MPVs are still big, probably as popular, if not more popular, than the BMW or the Mercedes S-Class. And today I have the Denza D9 here, which is the brand new MPV from Denza. You may never heard of Denza, but you probably heard about BYD. Well, it is a joint venture between BYD and Mercedes. And years ago, they've set up this company with 50-50 stake. But for many years, they only introduced one car, and that car wasn't even commercially available, so it definitely didn't work out. BYD has bought 90% of what Mercedes had, and they are now the biggest sole shareholder of this company after they've transferred all their DMI technology, for example, their Blade battery technology, to Denza as well. Today I'm going to go through the interior, the exterior, and how this car drives on the road. And my name is Fei Yan, and you're watching Rev China. I'm now sitting in the second row, and as an MPV, this should be where this car stands out. This seat is really comfortable. I can compare it to a first class seat. And you can also, there is a mode called zero gravity. And once you press it, it moves the seat back, and then you have your side support. This gives you a position where literally there's no weight bearing on your waist or your bum, and it's really nice to kind of relax on a long haul journey. If I move it back, there is also a key on the small pad here called the boss key. So if I press that, I can control the front seat. I can move it forward to give my leg more room. Now this is at its most forward position. I can properly, cross my leg and do whatever I want. And all of these seats are also ventilated and heated, and you can control the massage function and also the lighting and these panoramic sunroof on this little pad here as well. Both of the passengers on the second row have its own entertainment system. You can, watch your own show on here or listening to your own audio as well if you connect your headphone, for example, via Bluetooth. But you can also connect your phone to these screens. All these screens can play, the content on your phone. Over here you have a cup holder, and down below there is a fridge. So in the summertime you can put your favorite drinks or sandwiches here. This thing will make sure it stays cool and refreshed. On the second row here, each seat has also got a wireless charging socket on the side. It charges up to 50 watts per hour. And you also have a USB-A socket on the side. You can, connect your iPad or whatever from here. I've set this second row chair to be in the position where I have about 2 or 3 fists of knee room. And let's move to the back and see how the back has got to offer in terms of space. This car's wheelbase is 3.1 meters long, so it definitely has an edge on most of its competitors. The second row is set to sitting where I'll be comfortable to sit for long hauls. On the third row, I still have loads of knee room and loads of headroom. I mean, if you're over 1.8 meters tall, you'll be okay here. This is more like a second row of a normal car. It is wide. I think sitting 3 people in the back here at the same time is definitely okay. These seats itself, the cushioning is quite soft and comfortable. You do have enough cushion as well for your side. Each one of the passengers sitting in the back has his own headrest as well. If you're sitting 3 adults here for a long journey, like 1 hour or 2 or even more than that, people will be happy, no complaints. I also have 2 cup holders on each side and then a USB charger on both sides as well. Although there's no screen on the third row, people on the back here can definitely entertain themselves as well. Another big advantage of these MPVs over SUVs, SUVs normally have a bigger, higher ground clearance, which means if you have a younger kid or an elderly, they may struggle to get onto the car. But for MPVs, I do have a handle here designed specifically for me to get up. There is kind of a floor here as well, and it's quite low, so anyone can just step up and drag on this here, get on the car really easily. Another thing here is there is kind of a hook above this handle here, so you can have your coat or umbrella or whatever on here. Now this headrest as well, it comes with this really soft and cushiony pillow here, and it's really comfortable. And you can also adjust the height of the headrest to make yourself comfortable, and these wings on the side are adjustable as well to give you more support if you are, say, sleeping on the car. All these cars and the second row and the third row, all these windows are tinted. If you want to add more privacy, there are these manual screens as well. You can lift up, so basically no one can see whatever you're doing inside this car. I think for business owners and government officials, this is probably what they desire, because they want privacy and to be discreet. Inside the cabin, this is probably where your driver's seat. You have a small driver's display and has the map on here, your speed and the status of the car. There are multi controls on the steering wheel as well. In the middle, you have a 15.4 infotainment screen. As I said before, this car is actually a BYD underneath, and the whole system is actually a BYD system. So if you want to watch a full detailed review of the infotainment system, please click on the right hand banner and go to our BYD hand video. This system has the latest Snapdragon 8155 chip in here, so I'm on the map, is really smooth and quick. Is got a lot of quick access functions, for example the map, your search. You can go back to home right here, and there are multiple apps you can choose from, for example your music and your videos. And you can even connect your WeChat app to this car. If you do, then you can receive your WeChat messages and even voice calls on this car. Down here, you have a wireless charging pad, as all model cars do, and you have a crystal gear down here, and this looks borrowed from a BYD car as well. And then you have a lot of touch-sensitive buttons here, and they all have haptic feedback, and it feels really nice. This is your second row door control. It's all electric. If your important business partner or your customer wouldn't even need to lift their hand to open the door. Then over here is your EV, HEV switch button. So this car, as I said before, is a hybrid, so you can switch between full electric or hybrid mode. And this is your mode selector. You can choose from sport, eco, comfort, as you do with all current cars. And down here you have two cup holders, and the lid is kind of in a piano black trim, and this is really smooth. Here is a storage place under the armrest. Unfortunately, it's quite shallow, because later on when we review the second row, there is actually a fridge underneath, and that has eaten up into the space for this. The seat itself, these are very comfortable. I mean, they're all covered by an upper leather. The headrest is kind of on the hard side though, but as a driver, you probably don't want to be too comfortable and fall asleep. The sitting position itself is really high. I mean, this car is a tall car, so the benefit of it is this is kind of like driving a minibus, but I can see everything around me. I'm kind of overlooking every other car on the road. Driving this car on the road is definitely going to be easy. Now this car has a 11 speaker sound system from Dyna Audio as well. Now let's try our usual testing music here, the Ferry. First of all, the exterior, the face. Denza calls this the pie motion. This chrome bar here and the below two C-shaped chromes kind of looks like a pie shape. That's how it's given its name. On the front grille, yes, it still has a grille because this is a hybrid car. It still has a 1.5 liter turbocharged V4 or 4-cylinder engine, together with a 40 kilowatt battery underneath. These grills looks quite impressive. It looks like the Dragon scales. It does act as, a cooling function for the engine underneath here. Now moving down the side, if you didn't feel the presence of this car on the front, you probably see it now. This car is over 1.9 meters tall and is over 5.2 meters long. It certainly has a huge presence. Unfortunately, this is MPV, so it's nothing, interesting or futuristic. But they do have a few designs that making this car looks a bit more interesting. For example, a huge crease here that going all the way from the front of the car to the end of the car. And you also have this chrome trims down there and a big chrome line over the windows as well. And you also have these 18-inch alloy wheels as standard and these Michelin EV specific tires to aid battery consumption for these cars. Now moving to the back, you have a big spoiler on the top, and then you have a one line of braking line here, and it looks like two arrows joining together. And over here you have the Denza badge and a chrome line trim here. And if you look closely, in the middle here, there seems to be some sort of a waist here. So this car on the back, doesn't look as bulky as it actually is. Now I'm sitting in the second row. This is really a light and airy space with this panoramic sunroof above me and also this huge screen. Seat itself is really comfortable, as I said before. You can make here. There are many positions that you can adjust on this little screen here. You can definitely make yourself comfortable. I've got to say that the suspension itself, you can feel the weight of this car. This car weighs 2.5 tons. When the driver is turning on circles or kind of giving a quick acceleration, you can feel this car is rocking about. I can't blame it because this car is almost 2 meters wide and 5.2 meters long. It definitely feels like a boat. I mean, it's an MPV, right? It's a people carrier, so this is understandable. But I mean, if you're a business owner, this is definitely a good place for you to be, and also your customer sitting next to you. In front of me, as we just introduced, there are lots of amenities that you can use. For example, this second row screen here, a heater and a fridge down below. That's pretty much it. This is really a relaxing and comfortable place to be. Now I'm in the third row. I've moved to the middle because the cameraman can't really take me if I sit on the side. And the third row here, surprisingly, is even more light and airy than the second row. Probably because, you can enjoy the full of this panoramic sunroof instead of just part of it on the second row. And the seat itself, although not as comfortable as the second row, it is nonetheless quite okay. I mean, if I compare it to a normal SUV or a family sedan, it's on par with those. I can, stretch out. These seats are soft and comfortable. I can lean back as well. I mean, there's nothing really to complain about. I can, sit here for long haul journeys, which is okay. And I think this is probably what this car is designed for. If you're unfortunate enough to be sitting in the driver's seat like me, well, because this is an MPV, right? Now this seat is usually reserved for your driver or the dad. The sitting position of this car is really high. Although this is a big car, I mean, your viewing position is pretty good. It's like driving a minibus. You can see pretty much everything around you and underneath you as well. There is a huge A-pillar here, but they have created a little square here as an extra window outside, so your viewing outside is not really blocked by the A-pillar. Steering wheel is on the small side, but it's quite okay. I mean, the steering wheel itself is quite accurate. There's not really too much room. I mean, this is a family or business car. It's designed to be comfort first, not on the racetrack. And in front of me, I have a huge head-up display, and it has quite a lot of information. I've got the sat nav on. I can see the next turn. I can see the speed I'm going. I can see the speed limit as well. That's pretty much, everything that you need to be on the road. The center armrest is in a quite convenient position for me. I can rest my arm here. Because this steering wheel is quite light, I can basically drive on just one hand. This car has two electric motors, being the top model down, one at the front, one at the back, so it's naturally four-wheel drive. The electric motor at the front has 109 kilowatt, and the one at the back has 40. So together we have roughly 150 kilowatts and 600 Newton meters of torque. Electric motor has a lot of torque at low speed or low RPM. You don't really feel this car is that slow. If you want to overtake someone on the road, it's pretty easy. Having said that, because this car is really wide and long, you do feel like that you're driving on a boat. This car has not only a electric motor, because this is a hybrid car, a plug-in hybrid. It also has a 1.5 turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. It has a capacity of 53 liters, and the battery itself is 40 kilowatts. So on the battery alone, it can drive for about 200 kilometers. Plus the petrol engine, it can do of more than 1,000 kilometers. So I think a lot of people choose this car because, with a hybrid engine, you don't really have a range anxiety, because even if you're low on electric, you can drive on petrol. These fuel consumption is quite amazing. What Denza told me is, even with no electricity left at all, this car can do 100 kilometers with just 6 liters of fuel. And that is pretty amazing given the size and the weight of this car. If you're buying it and you don't have a charge station at home, or you don't have a parking space for yourself, that's okay, because you can drive this car pretty much like a petrol car. One thing I would have to say is the brake. Probably because this is a MPV and they want it to be comfortable first. So the brake itself, when you're driving at high speed and you press your foot down, it is quite soft and it reacts a bit slow. So it's definitely not jumpy. If you have driven other cars, so for example sporty cars or other SUVs, it may take a while for you to get used to it, because you do need to press pretty hard for it to slow down and stop. But at low speed, that's pretty fine. The braking power is definitely good enough. The acceleration, again, as I said, is nippy. There's enough power to take you around the city. The car starts from 370,000 RMB, but nobody would buy that because it only has a 20 kilowatt battery with a pure electric range of just over 50 kilometers. Now, the one we test drove is the mid-range, or the one below the top model, and it has a 40 kilowatt battery and 53 liters of petrol tank as well. And that car is about 400,000 RMB, or just over 45,000 US dollars. It seats 7 people comfortably, and it has a range of over 1,000 kilometers. So if you're looking for a people carrier, this is one of the best choice for you.